The other day I left a comment on a Facebook group, a somewhat Disney related Facebook group. Why is there such horrible hatred to be found on Disney social media? Seems any time that change to any experience at Disney comes up or happens, people lose their minds. I love Disney, and I get super nostalgic about a number of experiences there. The thing that sparked this thought in my head was the recent removal of Trader Sam from the Jungle Cruise, flipping out about how much they hate cancel culture, how much they hate this woke generation. Here's what Walt Disney himself said about change.
In fact, I've been doing that with Disneyland. Some of my things, I've redone them as I've gone along, reshaped them. And right now, I'm in the process of adding $20 million in new things to open next June at Disneyland.
So I made a comment in this Facebook group, and I thought it was pretty simple. I said the only two rides I hope never change are Carousel of Progress, with an exception of the final scene. That should be updated all the time. And the Orlando version of the Tower of Terror. Whenever people took great offense to that and said my idea was absolutely stupid. Now, I didn't say if they ever changed them, I would never go to Disney again, that I would cancel my annual pass, lose my mind, threaten to fight somebody. I have some real reasons, like a lot of people, to be nostalgic. My grandmother, for one, that was the first person who I ever rode Carousel of Progress with when I was 8 years old. And I think there's a lot of people who have really, special memories of Disney, and they don't want anything to change. I have these awesome memories of my grandparents when I was a little kid, and I think a lot of people have these little things. For me, it's, Carousel of Progress, and I remember that moment every time I ride it. There's other rides that I have similar experiences, and there's others that I don't. Actually, I have another great memory of my grandmother in the Enchanted Tiki Room, again, when I was 8 years old. I got really scared when it was all the thunder, and I just remember that. So for me, those are some of the experiences that I just never want to change. Now, how angry would I get if they changed them? Not very. What's your memory?
My grandmother being really scared on Tower of Terror because we told her it was like a family ride.
Right.
Yeah.
You tricked her.
Elevator ride.
You tricked her.
Yeah. It was really funny.
She'll never forgive you.
Yeah, it was good.
It's a Disney ride. How bad can it be, right?
That's exact words.
Or Michelle having a meltdown.
Oh, yes. The balloon.
That was a special memory.
That was special. Yeah, Michelle had a meltdown at Disney Springs.
The major
That was
meltdown.
scary though.
I took her on Characters in Flight. The hot air balloon, not the hot air balloon, the helium balloon at Disney Springs. And yeah, so this is not a special memory for you, but it's an unforgettable memory for us. But what's a good memory for me is a boring memory for somebody else. But I can understand why people don't want to change. Hopefully, if you're living your life right, you're making good, awesome memories every day. There are two kinds of people. People who embrace change and people who don't. Like these two. This didn't appeal to them, so we're going to Dairy Queen. Now trust me, I get it. Sometimes you want to try something new. Sometimes you just Want to go with something you know you love that's reliable. After all, that's why we keep coming back to Disney World and Disneyland over and over again. It's a bit of the old and it's a bit of the new. There are some people who I think would prefer if Disney never ever changed. I'm not one of them. I like the fact that every time I come back to Disney, there's something new to look forward to. The last time I was at Disneyland with Michelle back in 2019, we were pumped to see the Incredicoaster, see the Guardians of the Galaxy. You okay? Just working on a hairball? The Guardians of the Galaxy ride was a blast. I loved it. It's a killer, awesome queue. I'm a Marvel fan, but I loved it. And, you know, besides that, the Orlando version of Tower of Terror has always been the best version, in my opinion. There's a lot of rides that I would go back and forth about which is better where. Some rides are better at Disneyland. Haunted Mansion. It's better at Disneyland. But one thing I do not really understand is how people can get so angry. And I think it's a social media syndrome. I don't know. People feel very brave. They would never say those kinds of things to someone face to face. And people read things into things. So, I've said it before, if there's something you're angry about, you're gonna see that little thing all over the place. Like a little thorn stuck in your foot. Every time it pops up, you feel it. But it's galling to me, shocking to me, that people can have, I don't know what you call it, so self-privileged that they think they can just, you know, call people names. I mean, they can call people names and get away with it. It wasn't like that when I grew up, let me tell you. Now, I certainly do not condone violence in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, when I grew up, you said things like are said in Facebook forums about Disney to somebody face to face, you may have ended up getting punched in the nose. But that is never, ever, ever going to happen when you are just a weird name at the end of a keyboard in another country, you know, another state, another city, who knows. It's just so cowardice. I will admit, there was a time when things like that would raise my blood pressure. There is a quote I remember that makes a lot of sense to me. And that is, you cannot control what someone else says or thinks about you. The only thing you can control is how you react to it. So back to the Jungle Cruise. I happen to think The Florida version of the Jungle Cruise is the best version. Now, am I hung up on Trader Sam disappearing? No, I'm not. My honest first thought was, this has to do with IP stuff for Disney because the new Jungle Cruise movie is coming out. That may not be true. I saw a story on People magazine that said that is not the reason, and that the reason is it needs to be more inclusive. Earlier today, Michelle was driving and she had her window down. Charmaine was in the back seat and said, "Hey, I'm cold. Please close your window." Michelle said, "It's not that cold." When someone tells you how they feel, you don't get to say that they don't feel that way. Oh, look. It's starting to happen. Sorry, I get distracted easily. Whoa. Spring. Couple things you could do if you really want Disney to listen to you about whether you're upset or not about their changes. There's a bunch. I mean, you can fill out a customer service message. You can drop into the city hall and let them know. You can not buy tickets. You can buy shares. And during the shareholder meetings, make your voice heard. Calling people names on social media, it's not going to win anything. You're not going to convert someone. "Oh, I'm an idiot. Thank you for telling me. I'm going to completely change my opinion because you told me how dumb I am." Like the old saying, you can make some of the people happy some of the time, but you cannot make all of the people happy all of the time. Or, no, I think that's about it. Disney was an advocate for change, of redoing things. So, change is going to happen. When you don't change, you don't evolve. When you don't evolve, you don't survive. That's the history of our planet, my friends. It's going to be the history of our people as well. So, love Disney. Use your brain. Let's have a discussion. Let's have arguments. But when you just resort to name calling, it just means you're not smart enough to actually have an argument with someone. These are all my opinions. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Be good to each other.